Thanks for tuning into another episode of Quick Reaction TV. If you're new, please like, subscribe and hit the bell for new releases. Let's get right to it, quick!
This is why you should always recognize a dog's body language. Some of you may already be able to tell what this dog's about to do, but this dog lover was certainly not able to read the signs. As you can see, the dog's getting real stiff and pulling away while she's trying to give it kisses. But the biggest tell is what some people call whale eyes, and that's when a dog's eyes will get real big and they'll try not to look directly in your eyes, while also wanting to keep an eye on you. But when anxiety gets too high, it'll strike. Luckily, she was okay, but here's the full clip. Slight trigger warning.
Ah! Oh my goodness.
What?
He just bit me.
What?
He just bit me.
Come here.
Yes.
Education as a whole, let me explain. So there's a man named J.D. Rockefeller who created the public education system as we know it. Back in the day, there used to be something called the agrarian age, where everybody owned their own business, they owned their own farm, and people would go to school for about an hour or two every week at their local church. That's why they called it Sunday school. You'd go to school and you'd learn how to read and write couple hours a week. That was all. They did some research to find out how to indoctrinate a nation. The research that they discovered said 12 years. That's how long it takes for people to normalize everything that's been happening. So they made school 12 years long. They made school 5 days long a week with a bell for recess and a bell for lunch to condition people for factory work. The grading system itself was a communication to your future employers. If you got an A, you'd be a good employee. And if you got an F, you'd be a very bad employee. When asked about the curriculum, around what the heck they were going to teach kids for 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, for 12 years of life, because they'd know how to read and write within a couple of years. Their answer was, teach them everything about nothing. That's why you graduated with SOHCAHTOA and A squared plus B squared equals C squared and the periodic table, and yet you're not familiar with your own system of government, you're not familiar with how to file your taxes, you're not familiar with basic life skills like conflict resolution, how to implement boundaries, budgeting, all those things that would really help you in life. So, public education.
Damn! Congo crisis, in a nutshell. Since 1996, over 6 million people have died in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, so that we, in the Western world, can benefit from its resources. Congo is extremely rich in gold, diamonds, copper, cobalt, tin, uranium, coltan, and many other precious minerals. Congo has 64% of the Earth's coltan, a precious mineral that is needed for our modern electronics like iPhones, iPads, computers, laptops, PlayStations, Xboxes, Nintendos, jet engines, inkjet printers, and the list goes on and on. In 1946, the Strategic Minerals Stockpiling Act was passed to obtain and stockpile cobalt. With the largest reserves of cobalt on the planet, Congo was targeted. Cobalt is a strategic and critical mineral that is essential for our aerospace, military, and defense industries. As the United States and the United Kingdom provide financial aid and military aid to countries such as Rwanda and Uganda, these neighboring countries plunder Congo's natural resources as the death toll rises. In 4 studies, the United Nations implicated multinational companies in sourcing coltan from Congo, stating that these companies serve as the engine of the conflict in the DRC. As the world benefits from Congo's riches, Congolese men, women, and children continue to be raped, tortured, starved, displaced, and killed. In 2010, a leaked United Nations report cited crimes of genocide may have been committed by the Rwandan troops. There is very little media coverage on what is actually happening in Congo. When Congo is covered by the media, it is often about rebel groups committing mass atrocities. What these reports do not cover are the funding, training, and the arming of these rebel groups by foreign governments. Nothing is ever mentioned about the Western-backed coups, wars, assassinations, or the involvement of foreign corporations in the looting of Congo. 48 women are raped every hour. Millions are displaced. Over 6 million dead. Half are children under the age of 5. What is happening in Congo is a silent holocaust.
The best way to gain control of the most intelligent, powerful species on the planet would be to completely divide them from the love within themselves. As soon as they are old enough to begin creating an understanding of who they are, force them into a system that teaches them that it is wrong to be yourself if yourself is different from what is accepted as normal. Confuse them about their own biological makeup so that they think that permanently altering their body is the answer to happiness. Require their daily attendance at an institution that makes them focus only on the information that is provided. Make them attend that institution from age 5 until an adult and repeatedly test them on the information so that it becomes their truth. Give them an explanation to everything so that they never have a chance to make their own assumptions of the world. Scold them and humiliate them if they suggest an opinion that opposes that of their authorities. Keep reminding them of how cruel their ancestors were to each other in the past and broadcast how cruel they are to each other in the present. Only show them tragedies on the news so that they live in fear and think the worst of one another. Convince them that their species used to be that of an incognizant wild animal. Make them think that their very existence is so incredibly random that they lack purpose and struggle to make sense of a creator. Tell them that their kind is as smart as they've ever been so that they don't question the integrity of the system that they're in. Provide them idols with artificial beauty and use them as examples of what it is to look perfect so that they are never content with their own appearance and can't help but to compare themselves amongst each other. Create addictive digital platforms that rank them by numbers so that they base their self-worth off of the amount of followers that they have and are never satisfied.
Doja Cat had a very interesting thing on September 1st. She started promoting her new music video single called Demons, and it is her dressed as a demon on the Friends couch with the Friends logo above her, but instead of Friends, it says Demons. And like all of that's kind of in your face, like there's some occult, maybe revelation of the method going on here, something's coming. And the biggest reason I included this wasn't just the fact that the timing was a little odd, that, you know, less than 2 months before Matthew Perry's death, she's promoting it this way. You know, Friends was a popular TV show. It's a whatever.
Yeah.
What's weird about this picture?
Besides the demon on the
logo.
couch?
Besides the demon on the couch. Besides the obvious, about the logo itself.
There's no dot in between D and E.
That's it, right? And I looked into this. Friends.
I'm Sherlock.
You are. Friends is the word friends is 7 letters, and in between each letter is a dot, and there's 6 dots. And if you look at old promotional material for the film, you'll notice that each dot corresponds to a person.
Yes.
In this logo, I know it's 5 dots instead of 6, and it's 4 dots because one's missing, whatever. That's not the point. The point is that it's very obvious that one of the dots is missing, that one of the dots that represents a cast member of Friends is missing.
Yeah. Interesting.
Makes that makes you wonder, like, is Matt Perry picking up on the fact that they're planning to kill him? And that's why he's like sending out the bat signal?
That's unhinged, PJ. Don't be stupid.
It's supposed to be unhinged. I'm going to get super unhinged on this show. But I think it means something.
Yeah! Oh my God! Come on, baby. Yeah, buddy. Yeah!
Yeah, right across. What a shot.
Wow.
And look, it's still kind of weird. The moon. Yeah, well, we got that. Okay.
Oh my God! You can see the detail on the Falcon 9. Really? Like. Oh, on yours?
Yeah.
No, like it's actually lit up instead of being all.
Oh, from the sun.
Yeah.
Primary issue with getting to space was having a rocket powerful enough to get you out of the atmosphere. And that's why NASA used JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. This laboratory was founded by a bunch of crazy college kids and researchers from Caltech. They were called the Suicide Squad. They were known for being pretty dark. Let's put it that way. They had this nickname for a reason. They were headed up by Frank Molina, who's on the far left, I believe, and Jack Parsons, who's the second from the far left. Jack Parsons was an incredibly evil person, deeply involved in the occult, and even as a child, he attempted to summon a demon to his room. But where did the Suicide Squad choose to do their serious rocket testing? They chose to do it outside of Pasadena at a place called Devil's Gate. I'm sure it's a total coincidence, but the first time they succeeded in their objective, in setting the rockets up the way that they wanted to, was on Halloween of 1936 in this evil location. And one of them is a very serious occultist. What Jack did next, let's show a photo of Jack. What he did next, after he succeeded in science, right? He succeeded in science, right? He then went on to pursue an incredible occult thing. So he was a protege of Aleister Crowley, who we also have a photo of, who is known as the wickedest man that has ever lived in the world, and intentionally so. That's how he wanted it. He called himself the Beast from Revelation. He really wanted to be the Beast. He was into all of this crazy sex magic, the most depraved stuff that you can't even imagine and shouldn't. He wrote a lot of things about it. He wrote instructions for a magic working that he never did called the Babylon working. And Jack Parsons is the one who did it. So for three months out in that same area of White Sands area, he was off in a cabin with his friend L. Ron Hubbard. And they did this with a couple random women. They did this 3-month sex magic ritual that Crowley had written, and the entire time they were in contact with Crowley, and Crowley was warning them, this is too big for you, it's going to get out of hand. And they did it, and you can believe whatever you want about magic, but what he believed he was doing, what Jack and Elron and Crowley believed he was doing, was opening a portal. And what we saw immediately after was first, Jack's house blew up. He died in an explosion, allegedly a freak accident. And the theory goes, for those who do believe in this magic stuff, that because he was the creator of the portal, he couldn't then close it because he was dead. And immediately after, you get the Roswell crash, and then you get this incredible uptick in people seeing UFOs.
By the way, just for a little bit more context on that, Aleister Crowley summoned a demon through a portal in Scotland, and there's a picture of it. I'll actually find this while you're talking. There's a picture of it. It looks like a gray. So you don't see gray aliens or the talk of them or the concept of them until after Parsons opens a portal in the White Sands Desert, right where Roswell and all these things start taking place, and he dies and is never able to close this. And this is very important. Like, whether you believe it or not, this is extremely important in occult magic, is the idea that if you open a portal, you have to close it.
What? I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping. 4, 3, there it is. There's a sound.
That you...
Yeah, religious documents, yeah.
Pretty hard to swallow.
It's very hard to swallow.
Saying basically that...
Do y'all remember Bob Lazar? It turned out that he wasn't lying after all. And his stories that he told back in the late 80s and early 90s ended up being true. This is for entertainment purposes only. Lazar talks about religion and the documents he read about humans being created by aliens. Religion is a very touchy topic, and this will upset a lot of people. But that's not the most interesting part. The most interesting part is when he talked about the human species being grown in a lab or genetically engineered. But you, be the judge.
Religion. You saw some other reports that you...
Yeah, religious documents, yeah.
Pretty hard to swallow.
It's very hard to swallow.
Saying basically that... basically that we're a product of genetic engineering from someone.
Yeah. Yeah, how can you just swallow that whole...
Well, how can you swallow any of that stuff?
Well, it's easy to swallow things you can put your hands on and touch and then work with. It's no problem. When you get into a lot of spiritual stuff and religion, and you were brought here, and we were made by progressive corrections and evolution and that sort of thing, and where it shoots down a lot of the established religions, Catholicism, and everything. That essentially it's a tough thing to accept, and why, without hardcore proof, why even bring it up?
I guess the question more should deal with that you actually read a report that said this stuff.
Well, yeah, the only hardcore thing is that there was an extremely classified document dealing with religion about that period. But why would there be any classified material dealing with religion? That's interesting.
What other kinds of classified?
No, that wasn't the last thing.
I want to go back to the religion thing. I want you to say it.
Oh, come on, that's so weird. That's a lot.
I'm not asking you to say what you believe to be a fact. I'm asking you to say what you read in a report that is distributed at what may be the most top secret facility in the world. Okay.
All right, I'll do it. It's so far out.
All right, your objection has been noted.
Okay.
What does it say?
That we're containers. That's how That's how supposedly the aliens look at us. That we are nothing but containers.
Containers of?
Containers. Maybe containers of souls. You can come up with whatever theory you want, but we're containers. And that's how we're mentioned in the document. That religion was specifically created, so we have some rules and regulations for the sole purpose of not damaging the containers. The souls. Well, the souls or the bodies or whatever, right? That's
Meaning like we're containers for souls that they're going to use in some way.
Right.
And that they had something to do with different prophets and biblical figures.
Yeah. That supposedly Jesus and two other beings were genetically engineered. They were implanted in people on Earth in biblical times, and their births were closely monitored. Now, just some little connections to that my wife had brought up were in the Bible. They said that the star had followed Mary wherever she went, and that all UFO sightings always start out as people, well, gee, that looks like a bright star, and well, in fact, they said in the Bible, the brightest star in the sky followed her where she went, and it just made little connections like that.
I'm smiling, but it ain't funny. I'm smiling, but it ain't funny.
As above, so below. As within, so without. That's the law of correspondence. It is not Solomon's, David's, Billy, or whoever. Of correspondence, the law of correspondence. As above, so below. Whatever is going on in your head is going on in your body. Whatever is going on inside your body is going on outside in your life. That's where it's immediately relevant. Then it gets to be whatever's going on in the heavens is going on the earth. Whatever's going on the inside of the heavens is going on the inside of you in your spiritual, astral, invisible body. That's the law of correspondence. You keep that universal principle as you look at things moving in your world to comprehend why, how. See? Because the law of correspondence keeps working with the other part of universal law.
Do y'all remember the movie Hustle and Flow featuring Terrence Howard? Well, did you know he only got paid $12,000 for that performance? You want to see how the studios get away with this? Let Terrence Howard tell it himself.
Check this out. I made $12,000 for doing Hustle and Flow. And then on top of it, what Paramount did, instead of putting my name as Terrence Howard performing the songs, they put performed by DJ. Well, they own DJ. So guess what? The performance royalties went to Paramount. They went,
Wait a minute. They didn't go to Terrence Howard. They went to
$12,000. That's all I ever made from Hustle and Flow. Everything else went right back into Paramount. So now I got to sue Paramount or send them a letter.
Are you serious?
I got to send them a letter to say, hey, you guys owe me about 20 years worth of residuals and performance royalties. But I didn't know. I was just trying to pay my rent then. I made $6,000 doing Crash. Crash didn't.
I remember the movie Crash. Yes, that's right. That's right.
The business don't pay actors anything. That's why the strike is going on. Actors are struggling.
As you and I were kind of joking earlier, it's hard out here for a pimp.
Yeah, it is.
Did y'all see this video? These forklifts are trying to lift up this one piece of stone. I mean, trying to lift this one block up. Stay with me here. I promise you, I'm going somewhere with this. I seen this video online, and I thought about something. I mean, look at this. They are having issues just lifting it up off of the ground, let alone moving it to another location to stack it like Legos. Look at this. I mean, I'm not sure if this is 100% real, but that's a bulldozer and that is a dump truck. And imagine trying to build the pyramids with this technology. These statues or monoliths on Easter Island has been known to weigh over 200 metric tons, which is approximately over 400,000 pounds. And they are supposed to be building bricks like this and stacking them like Legos with horses and buggies and old wooden technology and metal technology that they use from things lying around. Okay, yes, I'm being funny, but let's be real here. Look at the size of these bricks, of these pieces of granites. And yet, let's take another look at this video once again. There are 3, maybe even 4 forklifts trying to lift up one single block. There ain't enough slaves on this planet to pick this granite up, move it 100 miles, and stack it real neat, and do that over and over until you build a pyramid, until you build a monolith or a statue or carvings in the wall. Look at this. I just want everybody to take a look at the issue that we're having today with today's technology. So the question is, how do we really do this? How did they really build the pyramids? I think it's some technology that someone is suppressing, but you be the judge.
Oh, hell no!
Part 3. The conclusion on whether or not this alien here is real or fake. You be the judge.
Morton looked for clues to the tape's authenticity in the technical details of the interview's setting.
Okay, there's a couple of interesting things about the tape right off the bat.
Morton tried to decipher the time code at the bottom of the screen.
First off, what you're looking at in the time code is DNI, is Department of Naval Intelligence. So Department of Naval Intelligence, this would probably be a file number 27. It could be a security level, however, because security levels are supposedly go up to Q36, or the highest ones that we know about. The first interesting thing about that is that I'm noticing what looks like a medical monitor, and look at how slowly and erratic the heartbeat is. The heartbeat is literally 1, 2. It's very, very erratic, and it looks as though the heartbeat, being as erratic as it is only about, from counting that, it looks like it's about 30 a minute or so.
Morton suggested an alternate explanation for the video's dim lighting.
One of the unusual things about most of these particular race of aliens is they are very, very sensitive to light. So a lot of these interviews are conducted in very darkened rooms.
To Morton's eye, many features of this alien dovetailed with accounts of other first-hand contactees.
Another strange thing about the physiognomy of these creatures is, as well, is if you will notice that the neck itself is not at the back of the head like a human being is. The neck is actually in the center of the head, which is what actually gives it problems holding its head and its neck up. Whatever this is, it's being taken. The interview is actually being done through a piece of glass, which is probably something somebody faking the photographs probably wouldn't think about. Right there, we see that the creature appears to be choking. The dark eyes, in many cases, are actually a form of lens that guards the creature against untoward sunlight. It's a remarkable piece of footage. I mean, it's very, 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 very interesting. If it's a hoax, it's very well done. If it's not, then I would say it's probably revolutionary.
Another expert who was asked to examine the tape was Michael Hesseman, one of Europe's leading UFO researchers and author of the international bestseller Beyond Roswell.
When I got the first information about the alien interview footage, and when I saw the first picture, I said there might be a connection to a real incident.
Hesseman was intrigued both by the alien's appearance and by Victor's claim that the being arrived at Area 51 in 1989.
If it is authentic, it might be the most significant film ever published, ever shown on television.
For several years now, Hesseman has been investigating reports that the South African Air Force shot down a flying saucer in the Kalahari Desert in 1989. According to Hesseman's sources, 2 survivors were retrieved from the downed saucer. One was sent to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, and the other to Area 51. The extraterrestrial in Victor's tape bears a striking resemblance to descriptions of the Kalahari E.T., and the timing of its appearance at Area 51 is consistent with the South African incident.
If you see the drawings we have of the Kalahari alien and the descriptions we have, it seems to be the same being. And the Kalahari incident puts the alien interview footage into a context and gives it at least a probability that it might be real. It might be the real stuff. We just don't know.
Whitley Strieber, best-selling author of Communion, claims to have had numerous personal contacts with alien beings. He has become the de facto spokesman for the growing number of people who claim to have been abducted by extraterrestrials. The nationally syndicated television program Strange Universe asked Strieber and several other abductees to view the alien interview tape. What Strieber saw left him profoundly shaken. Strieber would not agree to be interviewed on camera for this program, but on Strange Universe he had this to say.
The Land of Mars, everybody. What do y'all know about this book? Nos Confunden. Look that up. Talks about the 178 enclosed worlds. They are not billions and billions of light years away. And that's his Instagram. The guy who put this together tells the entire story. Very, very interesting. Talks about portals and how we actually travel to and from Mars. From Earth, very simple actually. It's not what you think. They go into details. I like this book because it's short and they are right to the point. And right here, the Terra Infinita basically breaks down these enclosed systems. And it tells us about Jupiter and other planets that are once again within proximity of Earth. And the lands of the custodians, that was probably my favorite. It was a little dark. The custodians are pretty much those who run this planet. And they are planet eaters. They take over planets and they usually have the most technology when they do take over these planets. Very, very interesting. Now, this stuff hasn't been quote unquote proven. So take everything with a grain of salt. But here's the map right here. You can look this map, Terra Infinita, online. You can order it from Amazon. But pretty much that's Earth. That's Mars. Look at the Anunnaki right there. Everything is within vicinity of Earth. 200,000-300,000 miles away. But you be the judge.
Leave that dope alone.
You haven't. So
He needs to leave that dope alone.